Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. On this channel we post writing tips, unboxings, book hauls, book reviews and the occasional vlog. And today I have another book review for you, and it is Welcome to the Hyunam-Dong Bookshop by Hwang Bo-Reum. This was a book club read for me and my first Korean translated book. See what I thought about it. Before we get into that, don't forget, if you like what you see, to subscribe to this channel. Your continued support means a lot, so thank you guys so much. Blurb time! Young-ju did everything she was supposed to. Go to university, marry a decent man, get a respectable job. Then it all fell apart. Burnt out, Young-ju abandons her old life, quits her high-flying career and follows her dream. She opens a bookshop. In a quaint neighborhood in Seoul, surrounded by books, Young-ju and her customers take refuge, from the lonely barrister to the unhappily married coffee roaster and the writer who sees something special in Young-ju. They all have disappointments in their past. The Hyunam-Dong Bookshop becomes the place where they all learn how to truly live. This has a lot of reviews as well. An absolutely charming novel that all bookworms will adore. That's from Red. Profound and healing, a beautiful story, women and home. Delightful, reflective and heartwarming. We challenge you not to fall in love with it. Women's Weekly. At once gentle and invigorating, I devoured it. Sarah Crossan, author of Hey Zoe. It has a beautiful cover, which is the Hyunam-Dong Bookshop in the daytime, and then on the back we have the same shop at nighttime. It is such a sweet read. I did really enjoy it. It's very slow, but like most of the translated literature I read, that's sort of the point. It is slow, it is relaxing, and it goes through some major life thoughts and events, but in a calm and comfy way to read about. I'll go into my quotes from this book now. Page 2. One day she realized it felt like she was driving herself into a corner, and she resolved never to let these words dictate her life again. Instead, she learned to listen to her body, her feelings, and be in happy places. She would ask herself these questions. Does this place make me feel positive? Can I be truly whole and uncompromisingly me, myself? Do I love and treasure myself here? For Young-ju, the bookshop checked all boxes. I really love that. I think it's something we should remind ourselves of, that if something's really not serving you, then there might be a way out. Obviously, in some cases there isn't, but there's varying levels that you can or should put your body and mind through, and I just like that reminder of that in this book. Something this book does talk about a lot is work-life balance. Being young in today's world where you just never seem to have enough money, not for extravagance, but just to cover the basic needs, like your rent, your bills, your food, seems to take up pretty much all of your money, so that to the point where you're lucky if you can afford to buy yourself one thing or go out with your friends for one night. Page 5. Aigo. That is a tiny quote, but I just love how the translator has kept in some of the Korean and hasn't really explained it. Just saying aigo is like, aigo is just being like, ugh. And I like those sprinkled throughout. They mention ajumas, the joshis, like it doesn't tell you what they are. You can go research it, but after living in Korea for 2 years, I just really enjoyed returning to it. Page 15. You need to rest to work, and to rest you need a certain level of income to live comfortably. Yes, book, yes. See, this is what I was just talking about. Page 28. Small talk could be a considerate gesture, but most of the time at your own expense. Yes, for the representation of being an introvert. I can do small talk. I know how to do it. It's just so tiring, and sometimes I just cannot be bothered, or I'm too busy and need the energy for other things. Ugh. Page 30. Maybe Minjun doesn't talk to us because he sees us as ajumas. Another word that wasn't translated. Ajumas are older married Korean women or older women. Page 57. He wanted to rest. From the time he'd entered middle school till now, he had never felt well rested. Once he became a top student, He was expected to continue being one and to work hard consistently. He didn't hate working hard, but if all his efforts only amounted to this, he thought he might have been better off slacking. He didn't want to regret his past efforts, but he thought he would also end up with regrets if he continued to live like this. He checked his bank account balance. There was enough to tide him over for a few months. That moment he decided. He was going to rest until the balance hit the zero. Until then he would do nothing. Alright, let's do this. What next though? What next? Next? There was no next. This is Minjun, and he becomes the barista at the bookshop, and I love the representation there. So in Korea, it's common to go to school all day and then you go to a hagwon, which is a private school, and then you go home and do your homework. So these kids aren't sleeping basically until like midnight, and then they're up at 6 again. There's so much lack of sleep, there's so much pressure, there's so much pushing, and ultimately you need rest. And I love how Minjun has come to this realization, but also how they have dealt with it, and sensibly as well. Page 117. What is your focus when you're reading or writing? Is it the sentences? No, although many would have thought so. What is it then? The voice, the author's voice. If the author has a strong voice, even when the sentences are a little clumsy, the writing will still come across as powerful. Well-crafted sentences can also enhance a strong voice, making it shine. Can you elaborate? Poorly written sentences can distract readers from an otherwise weak or unremarkable voice, making it seem more tolerable because their attention is focused on the sentences instead. In a sense, the unpolished sentences obscure the weakness in the voice, making it seem more palatable. And the opposite is also true. Yes, badly written sentences often obscure a strong voice, and when that happens, you just need to prune the sentences for the voice to shine through. I do writing tips on this channel, and that was just a perfect way to describe narrative voice. And also something I definitely do when I'm reading is when a sentence isn't great, I will edit that sentence in my head and miss out the filler words and things like that to make it more palatable if I want to read the book. Page 122. On days where she had to spend the entire day interacting and socializing with people, she sometimes had insomnia at night. She needed her me time, even if it was to sit alone in silence for an hour. This was why Sundays were precious to her. At the very least, for one day, she had an escape from the anxiety of socializing. Again, the representation of being an introvert, of social anxiety, of just all of that. Mwah. Page 179. It wasn't that she was particularly keen to meet, but as the person in charge of his column, she had the responsibility to check in on him from time to time. However, Sang-woo didn't like meeting for the sake of formalities. Neither was he fond of the inconvenience to both parties of having to pretend to bond over small talk. I just agree so much with this book. Page 222. The fact that he enjoyed his work and was good at it became shackles. The work wasn't distributed fairly. Those who were good had to take on more. That, referencing Granny Weatherwax here with the if you're really good at digging a hole, they'll just give you a bigger shovel. I remember reading, and I think it was in Pratchett, saying never work 100%. You need to leave some percentage there for yourself, because if you go to 100, then you're going to burn out. I learned this the hard way. Listen to Granny Weatherwax. Listen to Hwang Bo-Reum. Don't do it. And that's it for my quotes from this book. I found that it's a very slow-paced read, but it is very relaxed. And as I said, it reads like translated literature. It's slow, it's calming. If that's not your kind of thing, you won't like it. If you do want a slow, relaxed read, then you may enjoy this. I found it very thought-provoking as well, and in our book club as well, everyone sort of had a different take on it. So we had people who were mothers in our book club, and they thought that one of the characters in here, they felt really represented through them and were worried that they were too pushy as a mom, that they wanted the best for their kids, but did they do it the right way? And then some old people in the group as well were like, oh my God, is it that bad for jobs now and for pay and things? And people like myself who are millennials were like, yeah, that sums it up, that's life, yep. And we're just like, yes, to how the character's thinking about it and describing it. So overall enjoyment, I gave it 8 out of 10. Writing style 8, plot 7, world building 10, characterization 9, representation 7, and originality 5. Overall, I gave this book 4 stars out of 5. I did really enjoy it. I would recommend it. It's one I think I will reread and continue to learn from and appreciate. And that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. If you like to see as soon as I upload, click that little bell down below. You can also follow me on Instagram, Facebook and Tumblr. I post my bookshop pictures as well as my writing tips and unboxings on there. And thanks for watching, guys. Bye!